So let us go ahead on and make prayer. Attention prayer. And we pray. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praises are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us on the right path, the path you bestow favors, not of those whom your wrath has brought down, nor those who go astray. Oh Allah, we thank you for this session. May every word that we say in this session bring us closer to thee. Amen. All right. Okay, good to see everybody. And we will go right back on into this word auditing. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, last time we were talking, about I think we were on 5. Seems like it takes us a whole session to get through one definition, and still don't get all the way. So that just tells you. But number one, I think it's telling us that we're getting closer to where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was. We're getting closer. We're closing the gap. I mean, it's as simple as that. It says, I'm just going to read this. We're not going to go deep into it. I'm just going to read it. So this will be sort of like on those television series you say previously on previously on our word clearing. We were talking about we were on 5. And then auditing is an activity of an auditor taking over the control of and shepherding the attention of a PC so as to bring about a higher level of confront ability. So that's what it is. And I think we looked at the definition of confront and saw that confront is not a doingness, it is an ability. And so I think that's very important because confronting that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to get to the point, when you get to the point where you can confront the truth, regardless of circumstances, then you are in good shape mentally. You are in good form. You are in a good state mentally. All right. So moving on, number 6, auditing is directing the PC's attention on his own case and directing his ability to talk to the auditor. All right. So directing the PC's attention. So we have to understand that one of the goals in auditing is to help the PC retain not so well retained too, but regain attention units. And attention is just a very, very important, a very important component of our life. So attention is really all that you got. So it says directing the attention on his own case. So you can look and you see, when you think about it, so you have all of these different kinds of engrams. And we need to, Belinda, we need to get us a PowerPoint. If I could get you or Sister Jacqueline or anyone that's, interested, you can let me know when we can do this. We want to. There's certain things that we have to keep in mind with this whole reality of engrams, that you have different kinds of engrams, and the different kinds of engrams, they cause different kinds of reactions. You got the groupers, the deniers, and then there's at least 2 or 3 more different kinds of engrams, bouncers, and one of them is when you start talking about the bouncing, when you begin to deal with a certain type of engram, the engram is such a nature that it bounces you somewhere else. You know what I mean? You can't fix it's difficult. I won't say you can't, but it's of the nature that it's difficult to affix your attention to this type, to this incident, because there's something about it that just bounces you away from it. And I find that a lot of times when you understand the engram, when you understand the types of engrams that you're dealing with, you can get a better understanding of locks, your locks and your secondaries. Because what the lock does, it keys you into a certain engram, which may be bouncing you somewhere else. So the more familiar and the more that you understand about this chain of actions that happens when you touch on a certain engram, what it does, the more that we are aware of that, then, you got knowledge. And as we were saying, this is part of our therapy, is the acquisition of knowledge. And knowledge is part of the triangle, the KRC triangle, where you have knowledge, responsibility, and control. So obviously, once you get control, which goes back to what we were talking about earlier this morning, Sister Tina, when we get a knowledge of self, then we get more control of self. And when you get control of yourself, then that is an indication that some of the barriers between you and yourself, has been diminished or destroyed or erased or deleted, whichever way you want to characterize it. So it's directing the PC's attention to his own case. And that's what we're trying to do. Your attention is just so doggone important, even to the point of when you are praying, you want to pray, you want to keep your attention on Allah. The Quran talks about those who are not mindful of their prayers. And this is a breakthrough even in our understanding of the Quran, because the Quran doesn't go into the details of that. There's certain things, it's not so much a doingness as it is an ability, because you have varying levels of ability to put your mind on Allah when you pray. See? And then, as a matter of fact, I remember the Quran, well, our Quran anyway, the minister, him talking about referring to that scripture that I mentioned earlier today about when the person is out at sea and then the violent storm approaches, and then they pray sincerely to Allah. And then once they get back to land, it says they forget about Allah. They put up associates with Allah. But the moral of that particular story, as it relates to this, is that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that in a lot of cases, it takes a good backside whooping just for Allah to get a decent prayer. He can't even get a decent prayer out of us unless he whooping on that behind, And then that's why a part of the reason why that the Bible says that Allah loves those who he chastens much. So if he always got you on the trial, he always whooping on that behind, he's just trying to help you. Or maybe just trying to save your life, because when you undergo trials, then you see things a little bit clearly, because you're trying to figure out how can I get out from up under this trial. And things begin to get a little clearer, you see. All right. So the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom of understanding, because you can get the ultimate punishment from Allah. So you develop wisdom, that wisdom that will keep you out of the fire. So directing the PC's attention on his own case. So, and that's the problem too that we have. One big problem that we have, we just like to be in other folks' business. We like to, it's so easy for us to look at somebody else. And that's when gossip and sins of that nature come into effect. It's just so easy. And sometimes it's comforting, to talk about what somebody else did, or talk about somebody else's shortcomings, because it represents a temporary release from you putting the attention on your own case. When you put your attention on your own case, you don't want to see that. So then now your attention is averted. So you got something else that you want to communicate with, and to have affinity with, and get some reality with that is other than yourself, because you're dissatisfied with yourself, which in itself can be a good process, because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, that dissatisfaction brings about a change. So the auditor is a powerful person that can direct the attention of the PC to his own case, and directing his ability to talk to the auditor. That's why we have to learn how to listen, and learn when we understand certain things about the tone scale, even as we talk. When we talk to people, when we're talking to people, try if you can make it a straight wire. Always try to keep the conversation on a level where you can bring up the principles of auditing, or bring up the principles of righteousness, and to focus the attention. And this is one of the things that Mr. Hubbard talks about when he talks about in the auditor's code, you have this thing of not to evaluate and not to invalidate. In a lot of ways, you can tell people. In other words, you don't come up to somebody and say, well, you on a low tone scale. You are this, or you are that. That means when you say evaluate, then you're talking about judging. Then you're encapsulating. you're putting this particular person in a box. You're creating a picture of this person being a box. When you evaluate, you are drawing out, you are mocking up a cage and putting this person in a cage. And it's the same thing in real life. You know, we don't want to do that. But what we can do, because when you tell somebody what they are, well, they may be able to see what you're saying. They may not be able to see what you're saying. See? So it is of no consequence to just tell somebody, well, what's wrong? What your problem is? It ain't no consequence of telling nobody nothing like that if they can't see it. And there's no way that you can just really be sure that what you're telling them, that what you are communicating to them, the thought that's in your head is perfectly duplicated in the head of the person that you're trying to communicate with. So what you do, according to Mr. Hubbard, he says that you bring forth the principle. You bring forth the law, as we were talking about earlier, the restricted law. You can bring the law up, because the law, establishes the parameters. And so you let the person, you expose the person to the law. And when he or she sees the law and see how they may fit or may not fit into that scenario, then they, through their examination analysis, then they can determine what needs to be done to correct. When we got the book from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and brother minister, student minister Jabril, we got a book called Closing the Gap. And so what he's saying, he's just giving us an example. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving us an example of where he is. He's laying out his case to us in a sense. So we are able to look at his case and evaluate his case and see where we fit in. But the object is that we have to come to the understanding ourselves. So if you're trying to correct somebody, you try to talk to them, you listen to them, and you present the principles to them in such a way where they can compare themselves and compare where they are to the principles and come to the understanding on their own. That's what we're trying to do, is get people to come to an understanding on their own. It ain't about trying to tell somebody what to do, because some of us have this little thing where we just feel good just telling folks. We like to tell folks what to do. And a lot of times it's because, hell, we ain't got no control in our own house sometimes. So we got to go somewhere else and tell somebody what to do. And no nobody listen to us. Remember, we talked about earlier today, we talking about ARC. Everybody want to communicate. Everybody wants to be close to somebody. Everybody wants to agree with somebody. We're trying to get somebody to agree. And so that when you're trying to tell somebody what to do all the time, you go in the handbook for pre-clears, and that is under forced affinity, forced reality, forced communication, all of which are very aberrative. Everybody that's been in your life that have forced communication on you, force you to listen, force you to agree with them, force you to be close to them. They have created little spiritual scars that have to be removed through auditing. Auditing allows you to focus your attention on your own case. And when you focus your attention on your own case, the power of Allah that is within you enables you to erase all of the negative charges. It helps you to delete that which is negative about these facsimiles, the memories of these incidents, these somewhat painful incidents that you and I may incur. Directing the PC's attention on his own case. That's the whole thing. See, when he puts his attention there, when he's able to look at it and see for himself, that's why he can't look through your eyes. He can't think through your mind. But an auditor is just very skillful to lead. See, the Lord is my shepherd. And by him being my shepherd, I'm learning the ways that he shepherded me. See, this is what we are learning. Shepherdism. Or we're in the class, if you're in the class of Lords, where you hear the Lord in the Bible referred to as the Lord thy God. We are learning how God does things. We're learning how God has laid this thing out in the best way to tread upon the paths of righteousness that he has laid out for us, brothers and sisters. And that's why I just love that about Mr. Ron Hubbard, is because, and we've said this before, the auditor is really the vanguard. I mean, we never said this. It's kind of a cognition now, but the auditor is a vanguard to a new civilization. Or you could also say he's the vanguard to a new level of civilization. Because we have to understand, see, civilization, we can have, there's a lot of different definitions, but we're going to this our thing of the gradient perspective. And one of the gradient perspectives of civilization is that civilization is an environment wherein people live in peace together. That means that if the definition of a civilization, of a civilized person, one of the definitions, one of the gradient perspectives is that a civilized person is one who is agreeable to live in peace with. So you're not going to live in peace with nobody trying to tell them what to do. That's what's wrong with you now. You know how we do it. You know how we have received it. No need to get mad at the people that said it, because hell, they didn't know better, but we are learning better today. And Allah is blessing us with this finer knowledge. So once we internalize it, once we submit and internalize and embrace these things, then our administration, our ministry, each of you have a ministry. Your ministry will embrace the finer aspects of love, understanding, freedom, justice, and equality. Auditing, that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the auditors, he said that you are saviors, that you are spiritual physicians, because there has been damage done to the spirit by these horrible facsimiles that we have had to encounter in our sojourn in America and even before America for trillions of years. So an auditing, oh man, auditing is so important. Directing, so you got those two critical words as your attention. And then you got ability, because oftentimes we just assume that people. So I said, all right, now be patient. Be patient with this. Well, I can tell you to be patient, but that don't mean you got the ability to do what I'm asking you to do. Because being patient is an ability. It is not so much a doingness. You see? So let me write this down. But 21. Okay. I want to just look at something right quick. Attention. So we just said with the auditing that the auditing is the auditing. When you're getting audited, then your attention is being put on your own case, and the auditor helps you to put your attention on your own case. And so he says the definition of attention in the Dynetics Technical Dictionary. I'm looking. I'm sure everyone has the Technical Dictionary. Do you have it, Sister Carol Muhammad? Anyway, we just want to make sure everybody has it so you can follow along as we read these definitions.
No, sir, I do not. I was away from the phone.
Okay,
the dictionary.
Right.
The dictionary.
It's called the Dynetics Technical Dictionary. I don't know if you should be able to see if you got it. It's you can't really see much here. It's this dictionary right here. But
I have one. Let me see, can I grab it? I don't know if it's that particular one, but I'll go grab it out of my archives.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. And then, but we have an electronic copy that we send out to everybody.
Please.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I try to be aware of people that's on the line, and I know that you just come rather recently, so I want to make sure that you got all of the tools that we're using. And this dictionary is such a valuable tool, especially when you start talking about word clearing. All right. So anyway, he says in as regards to attention is when interest. See, there's that word interest again. When interest, man, I'm getting the cognition right there. When interest becomes fixed, we have attention. See, and so when you have, and that's a good thing to fix your attention on something outside that keeps you extroverted. Number 2, emotion which must remain at an optimum effort. Well, now he way down into that nuclear science on that one. Emotion which must remain at an optimum effort. He says attention is aberrated by becoming unfixed and sweeping at random, or becoming too fixed without sweeping. Okay. Well, what we're trying to, I think number 1 is the one that we're really trying to look for here. And then as we go deeper into it, maybe we'll get a better understanding of the other two. I can't honestly tell you that I really, really understand that right offhand, though, to the second definition. And then attention unit. So now what you usually find out in auditing, in book one auditing, they say that when you fix your attention on an incident that has captured some of your attention units, then when you fix your attention on that, then you're able to free them attention units up. In other words, it's just like if, well, let me just read what he says. He says, attention unit is a theta energy quantity of awareness existing in the mind in varying quantity from person to person. Number two, actually energy flows of small wavelengths and definite frequency. These are measurable on specially designed oscilloscopes and meters. No special particle is involved. Yeah, that's kind of getting, yeah, that's getting kind of deep there. But it's an energy quantity. In other words, your attention units. If somebody just say if somebody hits you upside the head, then if you haven't been audited with that pain or whatever, then that incident has a portion. I think the simplest way to explain it would be the attention unit is a portion of your ability to focus on a particular thing. All right. So if somebody hits you upside the head, and of course it hurt, then the next time you see that person, then this person that hit you, he actually, or this incident has some of your attention. It has, and I guess in the attention unit is kind of how he measures a quantity. Say it's a theta energy quantity of awareness existing in the mind, and I guess when he says the energy quantity, how much it registers in your mind, or if an incident has a lot of my attention units, then it has a greater ability to pull my attention out of present time, or to force me to share my my real time, present time attention with the attention that is embedded in the incident where someone might have hit me, or I might have been afraid of, or any of the an incident that may contain any of the emotions that are below 2.0, which incidentally, any emotion that is below 2.0 are considered to be what we call mis-emotion. Go ahead, Sister Tina.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to understand attention unit, and in the way you're using it, what came to mind is the process. So if, let's say, someone hits me upside the head, and it's, somebody that I can go to let them know how they offended me, and put the atonement process into place. Is that a way of auditing and in regards to the attention unit?
Well, I can't decide whether I can answer your question or get on the dance floor, because I said because it sounds like we had some computer love going there for a minute. I think I understand what you said. It sounds like that you are on it, that you understand, at least what I was trying to project, is that when you have the atonement, at one minute, if somebody hits you upside the head, well then you are not in no agreement with somebody hitting you upside the head. So when you atone, when you atone, when you become more at one with this particular person, then you getting those attention units back. See, atonement gives you your attention units back, and then when you see that particular person or get around that person, then you don't feel some kind of way. See, because you get around somebody that hits you, you feel some kind of way when then you ain't all the way in present time. You see, and so I think I agree with you. I think that very much describes the dynamics or the reality of the attention unit. Did I understand it correctly, sister?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You did. You did. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sister,
Yes,
for
sir.
your insightful questions. I love questions because they challenge me. Because when people, if I say something and then you got a question about it, then that means that you are seeing something from a slightly different perspective than I'm seeing it from. And so it challenges me to come to that particular perspective that you are in. See, so I appreciate all of the questions and appreciate all of the answers, all of the statements that everybody had to say, because as you will learn as we go into this auditing thing, and we're going to deal with auditing, we're going to finish this word auditing, whether we're in Ramadan or not, because Ramadan to a degree can be looked at as an auditing period, a period as in a period of time, you see. It's a month-long session. One reason we calling it straight wire, a Quranic straight wire. My dear beloved sister Jacqueline.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sis.
Could attention unit or units be a form of energy?
Well,
when you get your attention unit back, is that a form of energy?
When I read that definition, I was starting to get scared that somebody would come up would ask me that question. So thank you. But because what it is, and I guess in light of the conversation I had with Belinda and I had with Sister Carol last night, we were talking about this thing, how, about thought and energy, and where energy and thought, where are these things in the spectrum, of reality, you see, and some of the gradient position of of having a thought. So when you think about it, see, you have a thought is, as we were studying last night, is a static. So now, at what point does the static reach a threshold by where it is actually interacting with the physical universe? You see, and I think that's what Belinda, that's what you were saying, wasn't it, Belinda? Yeah. And so that's why I need all y'all scientists. Y'all got to help out, help a brother out, help us with these questions, because that's what it is. The questions help us. Yeah, I think the attention unit itself represents an energy that is attached to the facsimile that attracts, or that, in other words, it is part of the charge. See, if you got, we talk about incidents that have charge, and it seems as though trying to look at it in the most simplistic yet comprehensive perspective as possible, that is that the charge represents energy. The energy of the attention unit. It is the charge. It is the charge that gets your attention. Maybe somebody else can help to explain that a little further. It is my goal to try to be as succinct as possible and as plain and clear as possible explaining this stuff, because see, once we start getting all, you know, we get too scientific, then we get what they call a reality break and a communication break. And if you get a reality break and a communication break, don't nobody want to be around you anyway. When your communication is cut off and you ain't on the same page. Go ahead, my dear sister Carol.
May I hear Sister Jacqueline's question? There was some interruptions in the transmission, the sound transmission. Same with Sister Tina as well, but I finally got what she was saying. But may I hear Sister Jacqueline's question?
Would you like to give it again, Sister Jacqueline?
Yes, ma'am. I had asked the question, could attention unit, is that a form of, could it be a form of energy?
Did you answer the question again? Thank
Yeah,
you, Sister
of course. Yes, the answer is yes. The best answer I can come up with is yes, because attention is energy. It is a type of energy. It's the particle of flow of particles of energy from you to the object, to the object of the attention. It is energy. So so in auditing, you are trying to free up the energy that this particular thing is demanding of you. It's demanding energy from you. The energy that it takes for you to be attentive. And so by recounting and by the auditing process of going over and looking at this particular thing, then the energy that was diverted by the negative charge is returned to the person where it doesn't have the power, it doesn't have the energy to divert the analytical mind or the real-time mind. Does that make sense? We tracking? Are we tracking? If not, I mean, don't feel bad if you ain't getting. Let me know. So let's get it.
Your white hand is up, sir.
Yeah, I'm yes, ma'am. But I'm still listening. I
Okay.
didn't. Are we tracking together, Sister Carol? Sister Carol Asada?
No.
Yeah, see,
I'm
that's what I'm
kind of
talking
lost.
about. Go ahead.
I'm lost. That was that's a good question. I just can't I can't get the answer though. I'm lost.
Let's try it again. Let's try it again. The question was, once again, ask the question one more time, Sister Jacqueline, and then maybe we can do a little better with the answer.
Are the words attention units or units a form of energy?
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying, the attention unit represents the energy that is in the facsimile.
Okay, the facsimile is the picture, right?
Right. It's the and in the case of auditing, it is the engram. So you got an engram. So an engram, it represents some type of painful or unconscious something that happened, that some experience that had pain or unconsciousness in it. And so she's saying that does the attention unit have energy? So I'm saying is that yes, it has the energy of the charge that is created by the incident. If somebody hits you, then that incident has charge in it. And so the charge in that particular thing has part of your attention. So as you go over this particular thing, the charge is reduced or eliminated, and thereby the attention unit, the energy, your energy, I guess your natural level of energy is restored, because up to that point, the charge had control of part of your attention.
It says that energy can't be stored. It's too gross to be stored in the the facsimile?
The energy is part of the facsimile. It's actually part of the facsimile. When somebody hits you, we use the example of somebody hits you upside of the head. Then in that incident, there is charge, and the charge is what demands your attention. All right. So once, and so what the thing that demands your attention is the energy produced by the charge. Charge and energy is the same thing. And that is what is demanding your attention. Okay. So when you resolve the incident the more you go over that incident, the more you confront that incident, then the less charge is present in the incident, and the energy is lessened, and it has less of an ability to attract your attention. The charge is what attracts your attention. The charge is what embodies your attention unit. Let's work through it if we ain't got it.
No, I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna kind of marinate on that, and I think what I'm getting mixed up is energy. It's the energy in the attention, not the actual energy of the impression is not stored. It is not stored if only because there is insufficient molecular structure in the body to store these energies as such. Physical universe energy is evidently too gross for such storage. Further, although the cells perish, the memories go on existing evidently forever. So, but we're not talking about recordings or memories. We're talking about units of attention.
Right.
So that's what makes the difference. And I think I'm confusing that. I never heard of units of attention. I'm gonna have to get to that page.
Right. Well, you keep on with Brother Lukeman's class with the with book 1. You will get to attention units. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's in the book 1.
It's in
Handbook for pre-clears.
Well, it's there too, but it's kind of you have to kind of, the context is slightly different, it seems like, because you were reading from that same thing that we were talking about last night.
Mm-hmm.
The context is slightly different.
Okay.
But we'll
right
come back.
there.
Does anybody else have any questions? A similar question on that? Go ahead. Go ahead, Belinda.
When I read the second definition of attention unit, which to me alludes to energy, it talks about actually energy flows at small wavelengths.
Okay, so that's the
Did you hear that? Or was it muddled? It says actually energy flows of small wavelengths and definite frequency. So to me, that's energy if you have wavelengths and frequency.
Right, right.
visual.
Right. And so you can, yes, these are measurable on specifically designed oscilloscopes and meters. And I'm sure he's probably talking about the E meter there as well. Yeah, and I guess that's the answer. That's the answer, I guess. But we were trying to break it down even further, which I can appreciate that as well. You about to say something?
No, I was just answering the beginning of the question before it got detailed.
Yeah. Actually, and I was saying that a little earlier. But yeah, in other words, the answer to the question was yes. But I can also appreciate wanting to really understand some of the underpinning, or as we would say, Sister Carol Asadi, the metaphysical perspective, which is what I think Sister was alluding to. Was your hand back up, Sister Jacqueline?
Yes, sir. It was up because I had read it said actual energy flows of small wavelength. When it says actual energy flows, I didn't know if they were talking about the energy in the universe or the energy within.
The energy that is attached to the whatever it is that's got your attention.
So it's the energy within. Okay. Yes.
Right.
Sir.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Sister Belinda, too.
Yeah. So it is. So it is an energy flow. You know, that it's not the thought, Sister Carol. It's not the thought. It is the energy that is attached to the facsimile. So anyway, we're gonna move on from there. We only got a couple of minutes left here. But you can see, and as I was saying earlier, it makes me feel good about what we're doing, because here we are. We've been on this one sentence for a whole hour. See, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about the student enrollment, how he could take that first question and write a whole volume on it, because there's so much in it. There's so much. The fundamentals are there, and when you can understand the fundamentals, you know, it goes way out from that fundamental. So directing the PC's attention on his own case. So in other words, so what it is that you directing the attention to the PC's own case. So if there is a painful incident in the case, then you are able to direct your attention to that aspect of the case, which will disperse or break up those errant energy flows that aberrate the mind by taking your attention, from where it should be to that particular thing. In other words, it takes up some of your real-time attention. And when you are able to put this incident away properly through auditing, then you regain this ability that was taken away from you by the energy that is in the charge of the incident. And I think that can be answered a little bit more succinctly, and I will certainly take it back up the next session, since we just about finished here. Sister Carol.
Okay, I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time. Just want to know if Sister Jacqueline could tell me what page the attention unit is in book 1.
Brother Barteen, let me
She-
speak
yeah.
myself for a minute and pull that. Oh, you have it?
She was, I think she was coming out of the Dynetics Technical Dictionary, Sister.
Dynetics Technical
The Technical Dictionary. If you, just look for attention.
I have
unit.
that.
Yeah, look for attention unit. It's on page 20, I believe. It's right at.
Okay.
It's the last one that's on page 20.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay, well, it's 2:01. We're gonna land this plane. Is everybody all right? Is everybody on the train track?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll make sure everybody's on the track. Everybody tracking with us here.
Yes, sir.
Tracking.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Thank you. Thank you. See, I just appreciate all the questions. Thank you so much, Sister Carol. I just, beginning to really love my sister because she is so meticulous. Well, not only her, but everybody on here. But don't ever feel like, if you ain't getting your answer, let's be transparent now. And if you ain't getting it, let's see if we can get it, because that's what we're here for. That's what the auditing session is about, is to get some answers to some questions. Now, I can't say that I know everything, but when you ask the question, if I can pose it to myself the right way, then I can get the answer. If we can learn how to pose these questions in the right way, well, then we already know. If the question came up in the first place, that really means that you're kind of close to the answer. See? It's an indication that you're close to the answer. So thank you, everybody, for your participation. And I think, I'm pretty sure Brother Lukman will be on, I don't know whether it's Saturday or Sunday, but I'm sure that he will send out an email or whatever it is, letting you know what day it is. And that's one reason why I like the fact that he's doing the book 1, is because the book 1 gives you really the fundamentals of all of the stuff that we're talking about. That's where it all started. That's where L. Ron Hubbard got the funds to do the further research. Is after he published book 1, he was only expecting to sell a few thousand. He ended up selling 500,000. See, and so everything kind of took off from there. So may Allah bless us all with the light of understanding. I am deeply humble and appreciative for your presence here in the effort that will hopefully, by Allah and through his servants, will make us all closer to Allah, closer to our landing place, where we will land on that divine track of Allah and become the real builders of a new civilization. Thank you so much. May Allah bless you. And we will close out now in prayer. Attention, prayer. And we pray. O Allah, we seek refuge in thee from anxiety and grief. We seek that refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness. And we seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. Suffice thou me with that which is lawful, turn away from me that which is prohibited, and by thy grace make me free of want of what is besides thee. And I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, Master Farad Muhammad, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are thy true servants, the doors and the gates to our Savior and our resurrection. Amen. All right, family. Inshallah, we'll see you on Tuesday. As always, you know, our phone, you got our phone number. Give us a call if you got any questions, if you want to discuss that further in anything. Sister Carol, you welcome. We can have another discussion about these things. Anything that needs to be cleared up. We don't want to say anything in these meetings that leave anybody hanging. We don't want nobody to be left hanging. We want to try to address these things as thoroughly as possible.
Yes, sir.
Allah bless you all. I love you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Brother Bateen, is your white
Yes.
hand your white hand is still up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to get it after he finished. Sister
Oh.
Carol, I need your email address, Carol Muhammad. If you could put it in the chat or.
Yes, ma'am. It's Carol,
Okay.
B like in Barbara, R like in
Are
red,
you saying Carol Asadi?
number
Is that who
7
you're-
at yahoo.com. She said Carol Muhammad.
Okay. Oh, let me just say something. That's my
Go ahead,
twin
Carol.
sister. So when we